Okay, well, welcome to the February meeting of Council. Actually our first official meeting since the election. I trust everyone's fresh back from holidays and raring to go for a year's work. So I'll call for apologies. I don't think there is any, is there?
No, nil apologies,
No
Mr.
apologies.
Mayor.
Screen it off. Right, now I need somebody to move the confirmation of the minutes from the previous meeting. Somebody like to move they be a true and accurate record?
That was that January meeting. I'll
Yeah.
do that.
Councillor Egan, seconded by Councillor Galvin. Sorry, I missed it. I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no. Carried. There's no presentation. Call for declarations of interest, gift received and conflicts of interest. Councillor David Colton.
Declaration of interest in the road closure at
Spring Valley.
Spring Valley, it's item 7.5 confidential agenda. I also declaring an interest in that. That 7.5, that's my sister's husband that's in that, mentioned in that. I've got another one I want to, while I'm on it. It's in the general meeting, 45-2001 development, Ben Colton feedlot. I'm not sure if I just want to notify, it's the same name as me, very, very distant relation, but.
put me in for that one as well.
All right, and you too, Councillor David, thank you. Now, Councillor Moore?
Mr Mayor, do I declare an interest in that because I do
It's your call,
casual work
your call.
all of it.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
no,
it won't hurt to mention it in the Spring Valley road closure you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Who do you do casual work for?
Robbie Love.
Robbie Love.
Yeah.
Chris?
I've got an involvement in a 355 committee of council, the op shop.
Yeah, okay, got that. Councillor Matthews,
Yeah, yeah.
355 committee. We have to stop now, we won't have a quorum here for some of this. We're going. Okay, that's it. Everybody happy? Righto. There's no additional late items. So there is a Mayoral Minute.
Well, before that, there's the additional late items.
I didn't think there was any.
Yes, there's the following items, namely the Mayoral Minute, the Warrior
okay.
Fire Break, the January monthly investment and rates collection report, the December quarterly budget review, and also some additional information relating to item 10.7, the draft New England Northwest Regional Plan 2020-2041, and the confidential item 7.5 Spring Valley Road. And there was an additional email that went around yesterday that I had
The Spring Valley Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the photos,
So
the maps.
you've got to move it for that.
All right, somebody moved that we accept those additional late items. I didn't think there was any. Councillor Galvin, seconded. Councillor Mulligan. I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
That's no carried. Thank you. Now a minute.
So
I haven't got the.
item,
Wait a minute.
just, do you want to do the Mayoral Minute first?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna find it next.
It's right, it's item 7.
I'm on 8. It's 7.
You can see.
It says 8.
Open.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Got to be up there. Anyway, yeah. Probably read it. No, it's not there. I can't find it.
Somewhere we read it.
Just for the anybody that happens to be listening into this meeting, we're doing it all on new laptops, and there is some teething problems already.
New software as well.
And the problem is that the old councillors are new gear. Yeah, I can't find the Mayoral Minute, but anyway, have you read it? I have.
We'll jump from that to 10.
Yeah, it's not in my agenda. I think I might have the other one. Anyway, I think I have.
The Mayoral Minute covers or gives the council the opportunity to acknowledge the good work that's been undertaken by the RFS and other government agencies in developing a fire break around Warrialda. It isn't all that we wanted, but I think it's the best we can expect. And in particular, it recommends that an RFS employee, Shelley Smythe, be recognised because she coordinated with all the agencies. and that's essentially what the recommendation from the Mayor is, that the Council writes to the RFS Commissioner, Mr Rob Rogers, AFSM, commending the efforts of his employee, Shelley Smythe, and the excellent work she has undertaken to make Warrialda a safer community. Further, that Council notes the cooperative effort from all the state government agencies and departments in securing the positive outcome.
And you might recall that General Manager Max and myself went and saw Rob Rogers in Sydney, and I honestly believe he was instrumental in getting this ball rolling. Those of us that were on that committee working toward it thought we were never going to get it, but he empowered Shelley Smythe in Tamworth, and she just really did really well. She was able to coordinate with Crown Lands, and we finally got there, and officially the work started on Monday. So it's going to take them about 3 months. It's a contractor doing it on behalf of the SORCON, but it was a really good thing to see it started, and I believe that Shelley deserves as many accolades as we can put on her, because I don't think it would have happened without her. She's been great. So do I move my minute?
Well, yes, the Mayor. It doesn't need to be seconded, it just needs to be put to the vote.
Can I just ask that one thing
Yeah.
there? What are they doing with the wood chip?
Alex can tell you.
The only reason I had a bloke yesterday ask me what's happened.
It won't be chipped to the point where it's like a processed wood chip, because it'll all be mulched with just a forestry mulcher, which leaves it in sections as big as sort of 1/2 a metre long and quite splinterly. We are going to remove, council is taking the material off site, and the bulk is going to be used for erosion and scour protection on the bypass. It's probably not a material that's suitable for use in gardens, just because of the size of it and the irregularity of it.
Yeah, so it'd be too big for the garden.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell him, he was talking about mixing it up with fertilisers, with making some sort of fertiliser.
Yeah, it'll almost certainly be too big for that application.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Has the council looked at cool burning at all, Indigenous cool burning as a fire mitigation thing?
We've been practicing that for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I ask you, before you speak, if you just say your name for the benefit of the recording, please? All right, so that's, I'm going to put that forward to be voted on, that we accept that Mayoral Minute. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, no, carried. Thank you.
I should point out that we're going to be recording all votes, so if you vote against something, you need to indicate that, because otherwise it'll be recorded as unanimous.
Righto, so we go to
10.1.
officers' reports, executive. Next.
Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
There's a couple of things I read in here. Councillor Galvin. How much are the monitoring fees at the truck wash? Because that seems to be going really well. Like, it says less monitoring fees.
Oh, yeah.
Are they minimal or?
Alex?
So I'm not sure of the context of monitoring fees with regards to
It
staff.
said the
Yeah, we got
estimated income is $2,520 for last month,
Yeah,
less
dollar amount.
monitoring fees. So are we paying many fees? Like, are we making quite good money out of that?
I'd have to take that on notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more likely to be just the odd drop in, make sure the toilet's clean.
Yeah.
You know.
So because there's a sewer pump station there, it is checked on a daily basis just for its functionality, but all of the sewer pump stations are done in the same fashion.
Yep.
That's quite a brief inspection. Other than that, it's a regular cleaning and washing down.
Yeah. No, it just looked like it was making good money, and I just thought, well, yeah.
Well, it's going to. It's like 68 trucks there 1 month. It's
Yeah,
pretty good
it looked really good, yeah. The other thing is
Can I
that...
just say something too while you're on that truck wash? Scott Turner rang me yesterday and full of compliments, full of praise about the new pump and everything. And he said that, it'll get a lot of use now. He said it's excellent. He washed down, a couple of days ago, couldn't get over the difference. So that's good.
Could I just add,
Yeah.
Councillor Regan, that my source
that usually
Yeah.
grizzled about it has been moving dongers lately, not
He hasn't
stocks,
used it,
so he
no.
hasn't been able to use
Okay,
it, but
righto.
he's on it.
Councillor Galvin, back to you.
Sorry, I've got a couple of things. See how in front of, we actually had a disability access meeting last week. See how at the front of the sporting club that's disabled parking, you can actually see it. Is there any chance we can get that out the front of the HAC office?
Yeah, that's been referred to the engineers for attention.
So this is with regard to stenciling on the road? That they have been ordered. That's not something that council can do in-house. They're thermoplastic sheets. They've been ordered. Then we're renewing all disabled parks in Warriata and Bingra with those,
Yep.
with that line marking.
Yeah, okay. There was something else. I couldn't believe how many, it's good to see.
Oh, okay, hang on a minute. Councillor Egan's got something on that matter.
Yeah, I'll be-
On the disability access at the HAC office, they actually want the ramp itself
Moved.
extended along. It's not long enough to get disabled people around the vehicle and into the car.
We brought that up at the disability access meeting and that's all happening. We're waiting for, correct me if I'm wrong, Max, we're waiting for contract concreters to come in that are going to do the whole lot of it. Is that
Well, we
right?
get a
That's
report
right.
on that meeting?
That's right. We can bring those minutes to the committee
Yeah,
if you want,
yeah,
if the
good idea.
council
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that was all, brought up at the
Okay,
meeting.
good.
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Moore?
Mr. Mayor, the talking about parking, disability parking, there's only one spot in Warriella in front of near the news agencies there. Can we put a couple more somewhere, like
Yeah,
in IGA or somewhere like
it
that?
was all brought up last week at the disability access meeting. We can get those
All right, well, the
minutes.
minutes will be
Oh, right.
handy for
Yeah.
that meeting, yeah.
Sorry,
No.
should have had those with me. Probably hard.
You have something more, Councillor Galvin?
No, I think it's pleasing
Right.
to see how many people are visiting the libraries. They were good numbers. Oh, one other thing, all these new shades and that's going up at the living classroom, they're all grant funded, are they?
No, they're not all grant funded. You mean the new extension to the
Greenhouse and
greenhouse? They've essentially been paid for by the sales that we've been getting out of the original
okay.
one. Because
That's-
they're moving more into vegetables and, other than just plants for
Yeah.
sale, they're moving more into herbs.
And that seems to be going really well. Like, I know I purchased a fair bit of it through IGA when they bring it down there and it's all, looks good and I think it seems to be going really well. But that's all.
Thank you. Eddie, I've got some matters. Max, you might check it. It just seemed funny to me that in the development table, 362021, a new dwelling at Gravesend it is for $40,000. I'm wondering whether that's a mistake. It just seems a very low figure. And then I think the one below it is $35,000 for a deck. So it nearly cost as much to build a deck as it did a house. So I wondered if that's a typo or something.
Yeah, those amounts of money are the amounts of money that the people initially put in their application.
Do you think that's genuine? Do you?
No, that's what they would have put down
That's what I mean.
because they don't like paying fees. But what happens is we do an evaluation to satisfy ourselves that their estimate is close to reality.
Yeah, right.
And we base our fees, when we tell people what fees they've got to pay, on what we consider to be the genuine
Okay.
Okay, that makes
amount.
sense.
But having said that, it might be, it well could be, like, I don't know, it might be someone converting a container, for example, into, like, I don't know exactly what
No,
it is.
that's fair enough. Yeah.
I did have one more, sorry.
Yes,
The-
Councillor Galvin.
In the, sorry, John. In the development application, the garage down on the corner down here, what's happening with that?
They're replacing the in-ground tanks with above-ground tanks, and they're also going to expand what's available there so that it would be more like a cafe, restaurant type thing.
Okay.
It's just doing it up basically, yeah.
Yeah, no, it just seems to be at a standstill. Looks,
Oh, the one
lots of
Finch
people are
Street.
asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what the development is for the servo up here? There's an application there. Do you know what they're doing? Or?
Up at
The one here in Main Street.
No, I don't. Which number is that?
Oh, I haven't got it in front of me now. I'll find it though. While we're doing that, looking for that, Max, can you remember what it costs to run these lights for an hour on the ovals? We were just talking about on the way down whether it's going to be affordable.
Oh, there's going to be a charge.
Yeah, do you know what it'll be?
I think we worked out something like $35 an hour, but we're hopeful that when we build the new amenities, for example, at Nicholson Oval, that will have solar panels on the roof, which will offset the electricity costs for the lights at night.
How will that
possibly
work?
go, Max,
I
unless
can't
it's
understand.
battery.
Well, you've got a feed-in tariff.
Which is nothing.
Well, it'll be something.
4 cents.
Won't do it.
I think it'll be enough to cover the cost of running the lights because they won't be run every night. But we've decided that there will be a fee for the users if they want the lights.
Yeah, I'd say so. I was just wondering what it was going to be because, if it's say indoor cricket, each player might have to put in $10 or something.
Yeah, no, they'll have to pay.
Yeah.
They'll have to pay for the cost of the lights. But they're fairly efficient lights, actually LED, and I think it was a lot less than what you might think it is.
Yeah.
Just on that, Councillor Egan, just on that, could we have, I know we keep asking for it, but can we have some feedback on the efficiencies of all the solar that we put in? It's never really come back to our satisfaction.
No, it hasn't.
Or am I incorrect on saying that? I don't believe we've
No,
ever
you
had a
can.
satisfactory
I think
answer
Tim was going to get back to us and then
to
he left.
what our savings were, and we've had it long enough now to have a
Yeah.
savings component somewhere that we can understand.
Yep. Rather
See,
than do it, Tim left.
Max, going back to the lights, my idea with a business like council producing solar is that you don't do any good out of selling it, you've got to consume it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the feed-in tariff for council will be, but I'll bet you it's only 4 or 5 cents.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, we can't use the solar panels to.
You'd have to have
the
battery.
lights at
You'd
night.
have to have battery to do it.
So therefore begs the question, is there any point in putting solar on Nicholson Oval that only would use it once a month?
Well, I think it needs looking at because I doubt it.
No,
Because
it's
the
used, there's still power used during the day, like when it's being used for daytime sport, for showers and things like that. There's still some use for solar.
Yeah, but I just wonder how often they would use that sort of energy. That does it cover the cost of installing those solar?
Yeah, but you're probably, like, because it's a low impact use for electricity, you're probably going to talk about $3,000 or $4,000
Oh, okay.
for the solar panels that you need to.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the ones
so-
that were at for example, the offices at Bingra and Morialda, they were far more expensive, but that's the peak time that we use electricity is during the day, and same here.
You can understand it for these sort of purposes.
Yeah, but where it's just a relatively small thing, it's not very expensive at all for solar panels.
on the DA list, it's 48, 2021. The survey. Do you want to do it? Yeah. It just says additions and alterations, so I was only being curious as to what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's that's the service station over here near the
Around
school.
the
That's not
corner.
up there.
Well, that fellow owns them both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what. Yeah. Right.
But what was the other number you were about the 48,000? What?
Oh,
45.
it was 36 and 38. 36, 2021 is the new dwelling at Gravesend.
Okay.
38, 2021 is the attached deck, which is I just use that as a comparison.
Yeah.
Mr Mayor?
Yes,
Councillor Moore, Mr Mayor. What concerns me about the solar, we're putting a lot of the panels and that on our buildings.
Yep.
If we ever have a major fire, you can't turn them off.
Yeah, but what's that?
You can't turn the solar off if you have a major fire in a building.
I don't know what the safety, there'd be some protocol, surely.
No. You can't turn them off. Peter Moody told me that. And even Pud Bullet told me that.
I'm not sure about this because we've got solar at home, and if there's an outage, we don't have power. In the daytime, I mean, if the
Yeah.
solar's still working, and
Yeah.
they've got it set up like that so they don't electrocute somebody on the outage. I think that'd be how it'd work.
Yeah, well, I just had a discussion with Andrew Willett on
Yeah.
energy there, and he just said, unless you can get up there and put a blanket over it,
Yeah.
you're not going to stop it from generating power.
No, I don't know, we'll have
But
to,
no, it might be just something to look at. you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Be an isolation switch to put on one.
Yeah, but it still doesn't stop it from generating power, that's what I'm saying. Regardless whether you're an isolation.
Generate it to the switch, wouldn't it? Okay. The other thing I was going to ask was, I know where there was a request for Peter Cupid to be buried on property. Is that,
Yeah,
does that
that
go
was-
to proceed all right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, well, I knew we had provision for that, and it makes further to that. I believe where he was going to be interned, there was already a little cemetery, or is that necessary? Can you be interned without that?
You can, but there are some restrictions. You've got to have an easement created so that in the future people can visit that site if they want, you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but that, I think Patsy did a great job there. You can't predict when someone's going to die, but they knew he was quite unwell.
Yeah.
So they lodged the application, and I think, Patsy basically did it within about 3 days, and that included a weekend. So
That's good, yeah, yeah.
but it's an unusual event. Most people just go to
Yeah,
cemeteries.
that's right. Any other questions of that report? Can I have somebody move the recommendation then, please? Councillor Galvin, seconded Councillor Smith. Any discussion? Well, I'll put-
I mean, was it in
Yes.
that report that says there's only 16 of those blocks been, I can't pick it up again.
That will be dealt with in
Is that in
confidential.
something else?
Confidential.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, got a mover and a second. I'll put the motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's now carried.
The next one is councillor committee membership.
Committee membership. Has anybody got any problem with where their name is on that? This is one word.
Essentially, if councillors haven't indicated a preference, I've just given them what they had before. And with councillor Mulligan, he hasn't indicated a preference at the moment. You've got nothing, so. I could just give you what councillor Young had if you want. So,
Like you Artie, are you? Because she was Artie.
Tell them about, because I'm on
Okay,
Unlimited.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can talk later and get yourself onto something there if you like.
well, the Arts Northwest is one that has
Vacancy.
no liaison person, so perhaps Catherine would like to do that.
I don't wish to take that on, thank you, Max.
What's that?
Me neither.
I think that
What was it?
Councillor Egan, you should be on the Living Classroom Committee. You're not.
I think one of the new councillors.
Well, I think we need an additional one. I'd like to see your name there. that's
I'm
all.
happy to do it. Go on the arts.
You're on the
The
arts
arts one.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Would you ever go?
All right, I'll give it a go.
Francis
Talk to you
did a
about
good
later,
job,
but
so we
really
may
would
as well
like to
keep
see
it
you
going.
Okay.
So Councillor Egan's going on
Living classroom.
the, Living Classroom. I'm not allowed to say how you go.
Right, who's on that? I wouldn't go on that.
So everybody's happy with that?
I'm also on the steering committee for the Namoy Unlimited.
This is Councillor Galvin, I presume.
Sorry.
You're on what was that?
I'm also on the steering committee for the Namoy Unlimited.
What's that?
That's they
And
got
so's
funding.
Jeff too, aren't you, Jeff?
They got funding for to do a local employment strategy, which we're still involved in,
With a jock,
and Councillor Galvin is the community rep,
fair enough.
actually along with
Councillor Smith, is that?
Mr. McGregor. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
is the other one. So
Yeah.
now they
I
actually
remember that.
they actually want to come along and make a presentation to the council, which we'll organise sometime probably in March about
Yeah.
about
Is it
that.
Josh McGregor?
Yeah.
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 So I can include that down, but it's
Oh,
sort
no,
of-
I just didn't know whether it was in that, sorry.
yeah. No, that's all right. No.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen that. No. Is there any other alterations to that? Or, what's the action there?
Oh, it's just a
There's no
move
action,
it
just
with
for
the-
notation, right?
With the addition of Councillor Egan to the Living Classroom Committee and Councillor Galvin to the Arts Northwest Committee.
Yes,
Or
that-
Arts Northwest
That's
Liaison.
correct, yeah, that's right.
So,
And is 2020 on there as a, I haven't.
Yeah, you're on there for 2020,
Yeah.
Catherine.
If you're on it before, you're on it again, that's what it
Yep,
counts
okay.
to. So the next item is 10.3, joint.
well, you need to move and get a mover and second.
Do you want to adopt that?
Yeah.
Okay then, or somebody like move that we adopt those
No,
committees?
Mr. Moore,
Hang on, I'll just take a move in a second, I'll come back to you.
Moved.
Move, second it, somewhere, councillor Galvin. Yeah, councillor Moore,
I just see there, we haven't got any representative on Carina House there.
haven't we?
Well, that was Councillor Dick.
Yeah.
Are
want
you
to-
volunteering, Councillor Moore?
That's, you spoke.
I think,
Yeah, righto,
Okay, good.
righto.
All right, so
Um,
with that addition, are the mover and the second are happy to accept that addition on their motion? Presume they are. If that's the case, the adoption of that list,
Sorry.
I'll put to you, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against no, carried. Joint organisation membership,
it's a rollover from the previous council. You may remember the council resolved to move from one JO to another JO. We wrote to the minister. The minister asked us to put it off and reconsider it when the new council was elected. At the last meeting of the last council, the council just reaffirmed that from a strategic point of view, it's best if we were in the New England JO rather than the Nemoy one.
I think if you look at the map, it says it all.
Yep.
There's a big gap in the middle of the Nemoy JO. Well, a little bit of history for the new people. We were in the Nemoy one that based, oh well, you know where it is, Gunnedah, Tamworth, Walker. And at the time, Moree and Narrabri were in that as well. And they left, they had a dispute and left, and the general manager and I couldn't see why we would need to leave. We didn't have any dispute with anybody. But the result was that we were left out on a limb virtually. We're in no man's land, so eventually we decided we should probably approach New England and join that one. And New England have welcomed us with open arms, but the minister was reluctant to even reply to the correspondence. But we have a new minister now, so hopefully this will go ahead and it'll be accepted. But at the moment we are associate members of New England.
Yeah, the New England group endeavoured to give us full voting rights, but based on legal advice, they can't do that. Only-
I voted at the last meeting.
Yeah. Well, it's usually by consensus anyway, the voting, but
I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Thank
that
you.
we become-
Yeah.
And
Righto.
then the
No.
new council can
Yeah.
vote.
So it's been moved that we go that way. Seconder?
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Councillor
I'll
Moore?
second
Any discussion? I hate jumping from one thing to the other, but I think in this case, we did stay as long as we could, but we were nowhere. All the projects that they were working for we weren't involved in, and it was costing us a lot of money, 30 grand or something, I think, a bit over. But it was going up as indexed, and
we're still involved in some things where there's a benefit to us, such as the Nemoy Water membership and things like
Yeah.
that.
that's right.
So it's not that we're just bailing out completely, but we're only involved in those things that are of direct benefit to the council.
It's
And it's
still
as
good.
councillor Colton said, We were just, in the end, we were nothing. We didn't even get included on maps. We were left off, and I just thought that we were hard done by.
I was the chair of the Transport Committee, and I still get invited to meetings and invited to JR meetings, but we haven't paid any membership. We're not members. Anyway, so I'll put the motion then. Those in favour say aye. Aye. It's no carried. Planning panels, you think there's a need to have alternate delegates?
Oh, well, they've asked us to nominate alternate delegates if neither the mayor or deputy mayor are available or have an interest in what's before the thing.
So
and we do have some things coming up.
Yeah. Anybody interested in being an alternate delegate to the joint planning panel? Do you know what that means? What it is? Well, it's when you get a application for a development application that's outside the realm of council. They go to a joint planning. So if it's state significant.
Over $4 million.
Yeah, and the panel consists of 3 appointed people and 2 from that local council area. And traditionally it's been the mayor, and well, traditionally everywhere it's the mayor and the deputy mayor. But they're now looking for alternate delegates. So anybody interested in doing that? Some of the projects we've done was not Johnson's Quarry, the quarry out at Pearlman's Quarry. 2 quarries there.
Ticketeer, is that it?
2 at Ticketeer, and what else have we done? Feedlots? Yeah, I think we did a feedlot. Yeah.
The Gunyawarrald, I think we had a...
Gunyawarrald, that's right, yeah.
It wasn't called that, but yeah.
Anyway, you don't get called on that often, but...
It's not very often that we do it. It's quite rare, and all the information.
You like to, Councillor Smith, I think you'd be very good, yeah.
I think you'd like it.
Anyone else? We'll need another one. Would you do it, Linda? Right. Does anyone else want to... I don't have to put it to the vote, but I can. So we got 2, you go?
Yep, that's good.
Right. Do I need a resolution for that?
Yes.
All right. Somebody move that be the 2 alternate delegates, please.
Who was the second one?
Lyndon. Councillor Mulligan, I should say, before.
Councillor Galvin's moved.
Councillor Galvin moved, seconded.
Someone twitch.
Councillor Egan, got it. Put the motion, those in favour say aye. Aye. Against no. Carried, I part 10.5. I was really amused that on Monday, Adam Russell was there when we started this, officially started the break around Mayoral, fire break. He didn't know anything about this, did he?
No, well, he said he didn't. Yeah.
And talking to him the next day, he's got a press release, he's in Parliament, about the rate rise of 0.7%.
Didn't know about it.
No, he was unaware.
Must have been under a rock.
Well, he's been overseas on holidays and everything.
Yes,
Anyway, I thought it was a good conversation because we got a little bit of action straight away. But anyway, it's 0.7. It's way short of what our fixed costs increases will be. It's quite laughable, really. And I think that the time's fast approaching when they no longer use IPART. It's a good excuse for politicians. Oh, IPART's an independent body. You know, they said 0.7, they can justify it, but it's just not practical.
Well, the current inflation rate is about 3.5. It was 3.3 for the last calendar year, but it's now about 3.5. Even on that basis, it's 0.7 is ridiculous.
You had figures for the shortfall with our increase, didn't you? What was it?
Well, we'll get $58,000.
Yeah.
But the anticipated wage increase is $295,000 based on awards, because even though it's 2% for local government award, it's actually 2.5 for the aged care workers, and that's 23% of our workforce.
Right.
Work in the aged.
And that's you're only talking salaries here, wages and salaries. We're not talking electricity. We're not talking.
Oh no.
What's the CPI? A diesel CPI for road building? What is it?
Well, steel.
7% or something?
It's gone up 100%. Steel.
Yeah. So it's crazy. We're going backwards. Yeah.
And they're basing it on per capita things. And we've done better than they showed us doing in 2019.
You mean population growth? Yeah. About? So do you understand that? If you've had a high population growth, it can go up to, is it 5%?
5%.
Yeah, 5%. Of course, all little councils like us don't benefit from that.
But I don't even understand that, because you've got there's obviously strong growth in Tamworth, and there's still 0.7.
Yeah, Tamworth didn't do any good.
You know, Inverell, strong growth, 0.7.
Yeah. No, but I think
Armidale, 0.7.
I saw an interview last night in Tamworth. The figure was taken in a period of no growth for Tamworth. And 14
During
new people or something.
Yeah.
But,
And
anyway,
Gunnedah got 0.8.
Gunnedah got around it, didn't it?
Well, I don't know whether they got around it, but 0.8, sort of like a...
Anyway,
0.01.
the resolution is that we contact the local member, state member, with our concerns. I don't know whether you want to know any more, or have you read it all, or?
Well, the resolution actually will empower the mayor and I to start a fight, basically.
Go for it.
I didn't think we needed empowering.
Oh, I like to have I like
Makes
to turn
lots.
around and have someone behind me.
Yeah.
Process to appeal against the decision?
No, you can apply for a special rate variation, but
But then that's not very popular in you.
no, and it's also really onerous for the effort involved.
But as you were saying yesterday, when it was, the minister hasn't signed off on this yet.
No.
So this is the IPART recommendation. The minister has to accept it.
She's a new minister. There's going to be a special conference next week. I assume the minister will be speaking.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a great way for her to.
She's
you know,
going to have to
exercise some-
justify herself, isn't she?
She'll have to work out where the back door is, I'd say. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor Matthews?
Councillor Matthews, is the council obliged to stick by the IPART recommendation?
Well,
No,
there's
we're
two-
obliged
sorry,
to stick to what the minister gazettes as being the rate pegging amount, and she normally, or he or she, normally gazettes what IPART recommend to her. But under the Act, she's got the responsibility for accepting that decision and taking ownership of it. We want to get in before she does that.
The deal is you don't have to take the rise,
Yeah.
or alternatively, you can go apply for a special rate rise,
Yeah.
which, you know, we certainly don't want to do that.
The past few years, it's been 0.2,
2 points,
2.3,
Yeah,
2 point
yeah.
something, hasn't it?
which hasn't been much either, but at least it did cover
It covers.
wages.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a recommendation. Did I get a mover?
No, no
I
mover.
need a mover and a second. So moved, Mr Mayor. Councillor Colton, second of that recommendation. Councillor Matthews. Any further discussion on the matter? If not, I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's now carried. Thank
That
you.
also includes supporting the United Services Union.
Yeah, they're up in arms, aren't they?
Well, they realise it's their jobs.
Item 10.6 is the annual report, end of term report, which we got the other day in the induction, and you've got it there. Pretty good reading, isn't it?
It is, it's done, but a lot of work put in it, it's done very well.
And I think there'll be a lot of years go past before we have achieved, I suppose the next couple of years we're going to achieve a lot, but after that it's going to go right down. I think it's just a wonderful time to be involved in local government.
Yeah, we're working on a Blewett Award
Yeah,
application too.
right. I said that the other day too, that we should always be aiming to win a Blewett. If you're aiming to win one, you're doing well.
We've got a lot to do. All our sporting fields, our
Yeah.
swimming pool, all that becomes.
Yeah, it's you can see the difference, can't you, in the towns when you drive through. And as those trees grow, it's going to look even better.
I've got something in Councillor's reports about trees. I'll keep it for that, but
I don't think.
could be a problem with that
The
tree.
officer recommendation report is noted. Is there any questions, or if not, I need a move. You're going to, yes, Councillor Moore.
Councillor Moore, Mr Mayor, I'm just looking there on page 346, the amount of money we write off in fees and charges, can we pull that back a bit? It's over 100,000.
You want to comment, Helen?
Page what?
Page 346.
Oh gosh, my computer can't keep up that fast.
Is it 346 on your computer or in the report?
In the report,
Oh,
in this report. No, not that one.
No,
I've got-
in this one here.
It's to do with,
I've got the living classroom on 346. On
it's
346.
in that order, that, in the, Guida Shire annual report,
This one here. that we got.
346. Which one? The big one. Well, what's this one? Page 100.
Ah,
I don't know, we lost me.
and which report
I
is
don't
that? Oh, stop.
I'm lost.
So the pensioner concessions, there's nothing we can do about them, we're obliged to write those
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, right.
50%, we get reimbursed 50% and we council has to put the other 50%.
Yeah,
Is that what you're referring to, Councillor Moore?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another cost shifting example from the state government.
Yeah, that always seems unfair to me. The state government says you've got to give pensioner concessions,
Yeah.
but they don't contribute.
That's why a lot of councils of the coast do struggle at times because that's where the retirement villages and stuff are and they're all on pension rebates, like they're not getting full,
Yeah.
they've got to foot half the bill for all those pension rebates.
Just some business advice, if you want to make money and you're a funeral director, you go to the coast because that's where people go to die.
So unfortunately, no, out of that money you can't change any of that.
I think that applies
Yeah.
to hairdressers as well.
They go there to die.
What?
No, they go there to do all the old people's.
Oh, I see.
There's a lot of money in Blue Ridge.
We'll keep that in
Give
mind.
a rebate. Do they get a rebate too or not?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
No. Any other questions?
Well, you've got the pensioner card, haven't you?
No.
Or seniors card.
I've got a senior's card. I haven't got
Yeah,
a
senior's
pension. Not a pension, unfortunately.
We did because we got him before when Ian turned and I was still working.
Yeah.
But we can't get any money.
No.
Over here, bring down here.
Get all
I'm
that.
getting lost here.
No, you've got to move it, but we haven't got it. So did Councillor Moore, did you?
You moved it, didn't you?
Which one's that? What are we gonna do?
The annual report.
Annual report and
Annual
end of term report. I need somebody to move. Did you
Yes.
get a move?
Yeah, it's got to move it.
Yeah.
Councillor-
Second.
Moved it.
Councillor Smith seconded it. I don't know who moved it.
I'd also like to commend the work that was put into that because there's obviously a hell of a lot of work put in it and it's very good. Good reading.
Yes.
Yeah, look, I agree. It's a wonderful document and I believe that this is a very important one, but I think that we get mandated to do heaps of reports by the government that are such a waste of time. But not this one. This
No,
is a beauty.
this is good.
This is a beauty.
And the amount
you
of
need
work,
to read it. Yeah.
the amount of work that has been put in it and the pictures, everything.
Yeah. And it's a terrific record of our term, our last term. Right, I've got a move and a second now that we accept that document. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Those photos in it are unbelievable. Some of the photos.
Now, the
Yes, submission. Council-
10.7, the council submission to the draft New England Northwest Regional Plan, there was some additional notes sent out by email, and also a staff member has suggested that we should make mention of the Mayoral Creek massacre site as well, and I'd suggest that we include that as well as one of our responses. And the only other thing is, if you're happy with using the Cranky Rock photo.
Yeah, isn't that a good photo?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great photo.
That's a great photo.
Who took that? Was that Ben Perry?
I don't know. Oh, no, it might be Anthony. I'm not sure.
Well, it was one of them.
Does
It might
anyone
have been
know?
Anthony Francis.
Yeah,
Anthony,
yeah, I think it was Anthony.
Yeah. The regional plan, no, not sorry, I'm on a different tack.
It's this
I'll ask.
plan here.
Yeah, no, I know it is. I need somebody to move and second that recommendation. Councillor Galvin, you're busy today. Move, seconded.
No, but
Councillor Smith's going to second that. Any questions? Not all. Put the motion, those in favour say aye. Aye. Okay. Yeah, community meetings.
There's one change there. The Cropper Creek meeting would now be held on, I think it's Wednesday, the 16th of March.
That's right.
I'll be an apology for that because I'll be in Tamworth at the library meeting.
Okay.
And then I have a 2020 meeting I've got
All right.
in the afternoon, in
Well,
the evening.
I mean, yeah, we don't all have to be at them.
What was it, Max?
So you're not driving us, Catherine?
We're not getting lost.
Yes, she is.
You probably
She
won't
is.
get lost.
You won't have to leave quite as early.
So you'll have to leave early because we're going via Tamworth.
Yeah.
And we'll come in the back way.
Oh, that's usual.
Looks like it's up to us, Matt.
Equally as lost.
It's up to us, Matt.
That's
I
all
wonder
right,
where
mate.
we'll end up.
We'll take a swag.
Just a word on those community meetings. It's good if we can have a reasonable roll-up of council people at those meetings, but I don't expect everybody to go to all of them. It's a big call. I mean, I do. I go to all of them. I have
You
to.
usually try to.
But I know people try to. But if you can't go, don't feel too badly about it. But we do need. Well, we like to outnumber them if we can.
Good idea. And we have usually.
Safety in numbers.
I'll be an
Mayor, I'll
apology
move
for
the
the North
adoption of the
Star.
dates with the change.
Sorry.
I'll move the adoption of those dates with the change.
With the
for
change,
Crop
okay.
Creek.
Thank you, Councillor Colton. Second, Councillor Mulligan.
Can I also point out it's a fairly intense program, but we're trying to fit in between the two council meetings and also get some feedback for the next community strategic plan. On the 7th of March meeting at Bingra, a half-hour slot will be given over to the fire service, who will be promoting, trying to get people to join up. They've only got 2 members and they need 12 to make it viable. So that, and on the other ones, there will be, what we've started to do in the past, there'll actually be an agenda where we try, to give out information. There will be opportunity for people to ask questions, but we'll try to, make it a positive process rather than negative. I'm looking forward to going to Warrialda.
So am I.
We'll all go there.
What the clubs have you?
I think that's the important thing, that we go with an agenda and we run the meeting. We don't just go to potholes.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no.
And we've got some great news.
Yeah.
For example, Upper Horton, that road out there, they've been after for years and years and years.
Yeah. Plus all the other improvements around the.
And their
Yeah, we'll
waters
be-
and their parks.
We'll be outlining all the grants that have gone to all these smaller communities, and I
then
think that's one of the
we
great things
should
about the
really
council. This money has been spread around. It hasn't just been spent in the larger communities, and I think that's important.
At Cropper Creek, they had, they asked for money for work
Yes.
on the club.
Yes.
And it wasn't acceptable in the terms
No.
of the grant. So our answer to that will be, we'll be looking at future grants for them.
Well, we certainly have their, their information,
yeah.
and
That was really lucky because they contacted me, wondered if they could start and then get paid back, and I said I thought that was very dangerous, and they didn't do that, luckily, because it didn't fall inside the guidelines or it fell outside the guidelines of the grant, so they missed out there. But maybe there'll be another one come through that we can help them out. Anyway, for those community meetings, I've got a move and a second that schedule be adopted. Those in favour say aye. Aye. No, carry. Now, Councillor Reports. I'm happy to.
we're still in. We've got another couple left. You want to do it?
Oh, they're late.
Ten-
items.
yeah,
Sorry,
ten-
we've got to
ten-
go to the late items.
That's okay.
We'll do
10.9.
that first, yes.
The January monthly investment and rates collection report, which is the usual report.
Any questions on that? I haven't got these late items.
Yeah.
Must be in our emails.
Any questions on that? If not, I'd take them. Somebody move the officer's recommendation. Somebody like to move that way? No?
Move.
Councillor Colton. Seconded, Councillor Mulligan. Put the motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's no, carried.
The 10.10 is the December quarterly budget review statement.
You want to comment on any of this, Helen?
the report's there. I can take any questions that you have. The adjustments that have been made to improve council's bottom line for the quarter. The biggest changes are we're going to have, there's obviously been RMS works that have been booked in for this financial year that will boost our bottom line. It increases our revenue and expenditure, but by the looks of it, it's going to produce hopefully a bit of a profit for us if everything goes according to plan. The only other thing probably to note in the capital review is the sewer project that we weren't successful for, that we're going to have to take a loan out to complete.
This is putting it across the other side,
The other side of the
other side of the river. And we were promised that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we had it.
Yeah,
I think it was a political promise,
it was too.
easily made and easily broken.
Yeah.
Sewer fund does have good reserves to
Yeah.
be able to do that for the community, and if we take out a loan for that, that will mean that it's paid off by the generationals rather than just the here and now.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's not coming out of the general fund. It's,
Yeah.
It was actually given, there are 5 ratings of work, and that work was given a rating of 4,
was it?
and so it didn't qualify in that round of funding. The upgraded work for Gravesend Water, I think, was given a 5, so we're likely to get funding for that.
The extension of the sewer will start paying for itself too.
Yes, it will. And it's not only on the other side of the river, it's also Old Cura Road as well,
Oh, yeah.
which is unsewered, which
Yeah.
Okay.
is an improvement.
Is there any questions of Helen? Just, you were talking about the RMS work. Alex, the Hadley job, are we going to do that, or you did try and contract that out, I know?
Yeah, we attempted to contract that project out, were unable to receive a tenderer.
Yeah.
RMS will be carrying out that project, but there is an additional one we're in talks with at the moment about constructing later this financial year.
Okay. RMS will do that job themselves?
No, the RMS will do the Hadley rehabilitation, but the additional job I'm talking about, the conversation at the moment is the council will conduct that. But in addition to that, we're still doing our routine maintenance. There's highway heavy patching that's underway at the moment, so that RMCC work is still continuing.
Yeah, sure. Any questions of Helen? Somebody like to move the recommendation?
Could I just ask
That's a good
Helen how
question.
the superannuation
That's
fund
very good.
will impact us?
Our on cost that we have on wages has been pretty high over the years, so we won't have to adjust that, and we should be able to carry on. I mean, it's going to impact us because it's got to be paid, but the cost of it is recouped through our wages on cost, and that's not going to change. So our bottom line for wages won't actually.
The councillors.
Oh, for the councillors.
Well, those that elect
That's
to
not
take it.
until the.
July.
I think that's July next year.
July.
2023, is it?
Oh, what am I reading?
I just got a thing just then on it, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Payments to councillors in New South Wales 2022.
Yeah.
Can you flick that to
Luckily,
me?
you aren't paid very much.
No, I realise that, but I just thought it's something we've never
In the grand scheme of wages in the next couple of years, that's not going to.
impact us at all, is
You
it?
can elect not to take it
Yeah.
if you want.
If someone can flick me that email, that would be good.
Well,
It's probably come through to you now.
yeah, it's Daria Turley.
Darren.
All right. I don't know where I'm up to.
No, we haven't got it. We haven't got it. Dave, did you move it, Dave?
Which one was that?
Oh, the last one.
The budget, the quarter review.
No,
No,
I
we
didn't do
haven't.
No, we
it.
haven't.
One
Right,
before,
looking
but
for a
I'll do it
mover.
for you, mate.
Thank you, Councillor David Carlton. Seconded, Councillor Marilyn Dixon. Put the motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Hence now carried.
You want
Thank
to have
you.
you want to have a rest now, or do you want to do council?
We're going to do councillors' reports because what I was going to say, I'm happy to do councillors' reports that you're happy to go to the public with, and we'll reserve a spot in confidential session for some more. So I'll go.
Where are you going to start?
I'll go this way to give Lyndon a time to think. Don't forget, I just said the confidential bit can be told later.
Okay, well, I'll leave one for
Councillor
confidential.
Egan.
The EPA, Max, we must be nearly ready for that if we're going to start talking about more development sites, are we?
What about
Our
the
new
EPA?
EPA. Our,
No, that's the wrong word.
LEP.
LEP, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that nearly ready?
There's been a draft prepared for
Because we
discussion.
have got a lot of,
But it does need a little bit of work before it can come to the council.
okay.
I
Just
think
wondering, because there's a lot of queries about
Yeah, that
sizes
looks
of
at
land and
doing,
where.
that looks at trying to, how we can implement some of the things that have come up in various reports like that.
Smaller blocks.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
desire for
that's
little
where I'm going.
hobby farm type, yeah.
Because there's a couple of blocks that are 300 and something acres, I'll say, because is it
Yeah.
hectares or acres? It's
No,
got to
we
be
understand
500.
acres, we do.
Yeah. Anyway, there's some, they're subdivided off and everything, and they're blocks of ground that stand alone, but we can't build houses on them. In today's age, that
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of sense, so,
I think just from the bit
They
of
don't have
networking,
dwelling entitlement, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
a lot of networking I've been doing, there's a desire everywhere for that.
yeah.
I think
so
there'll be a lot of
it's something
councils
we need
investing
to
that
bring
money.
up and-
Yeah. Is that it?
No,
Oh, no.
no, it's not it. TVs, our reception, Max.
Yeah.
I know that Barnaby offered to take us to visit the minister. It needs a bit more than a visit to the minister, and I don't know how many people are affected in the room.
What, have you got a bad reception in Mingra for TV?
Absolutely shocking.
Okay.
You don't watch television, you get no news feeds and things like that. It's really bad, and there's people all over town. It's not in one isolated. Chris, do you get a TV reception?
I get my TV through the
Oh,
internet.
yours is different, yes. Anyway, I'm bringing that to our
You need
notice
a
because I've
repeater
got
up on the lookout, that's what
got
you're saying.
people whinging about it all over the community, and it is, there's just no,
Oh, yeah, that's
no
noted,
need.
yep.
Trees, now, the trees, Max, could we have a look at our orange trees? They're all, I think they have a bug. Something's wrong with our orange trees, if you look at the orange trees and the
Which street?
fruit
Which street? Finch Street? Or
in
everywhere?
general.
That's
And the
interesting.
trees going down
Yeah,
the street
they
here,
dead.
Are they dying? Are they dead? Or what is the
In
story?
Cunningham Street?
Cunningham.
Yeah,
Yes,
The big trees or the little?
yeah, the big
big
ones.
trees straight down here.
Down past Mitre.
Just next to IGA there.
Yeah.
Do you know, we have had some discussions about that internally, and I can't remember what I was told when I asked.
Well, we certainly need an arborist or someone to come and look at everything because things are
It's
dying.
interesting, the orange trees, because I had the same thing at home. There was a little bit of leaf curl, which we got out of.
Leaf
We had
curls
a little bit of
happening.
dieback, and all the fruit that was it set fell off, and now it's flowering again, all over. And I wonder whether that's...
And I wondered, yeah, whether those ones, but it's every alternate tree.
Anyway,
Anyway, trees. And I just want to say in this session, a big thank you to the op shop. I had the pleasure of going there the other day and they made a presentation to Community Comfort of $2,000. They put a lot of money back into the
yeah,
community
that's good.
and the community thanks them for their hard work.
Okay. You done?
Done.
Thank you.
Later.
Councillor D. Colton?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just wondering where we're up to. I've had a few queries with the Hope Street, the total ag site. What's happening there?
Max can answer that.
Okay, we've allocated significant money out of the federal grant to do that work, and we're at the moment trying to find some landscape. Well, I should point out we're actually getting the site completely surveyed at the moment by local government engineers, so we know exactly the scale of the site, whether we can conveniently get caravans into the site, they can turn around, they can go off the site, all that sort of stuff's been done. And we're seeking quotations from landscape people that are affordable. We're aiming to probably spend about $30,000 for the landscape design, which would also include significant community consultation with the chamber and any other resident that want to have a say. And the amount of money that we're talking about is about $500,000. So there's significant money there to do something very special with that land.
It's already granted money.
Yeah.
Completely grant funded. And there's going to be some discussion with the Telstra building. We want a walkway through to the toilet. Rather than build toilets on this site, we're going to be renovating the toilets behind the courthouse.
Yep.
And so we would like a walkway, not only to allow people to go to the toilet, but also to be able to get over to the main street to go to the cafe or the bakery or whatever as well.
So we're waiting for that recommendation, but in the meantime, think about what we should be doing with the sheds, whether they need to come down or we leave them, or all that needs to be considered.
They need to
You
come
don't have
down.
caravans going in and out.
I think they need to go down too.
Well, they're
Yeah, that's what we think too. That's why we're getting local government engineering from Inverell to have a look at how we can get, because it's preferable if caravans drive in and out, don't have to do anything other than drive forward all the time.
We're hoping we might be able to put out an expression of interest and get some income from the sale of those bigger sheds that we can again put into that park.
I don't think you will. I don't think they're saleable. They're not very well built.
Okay.
While they might be strong, they're not pretty hard to move. And obviously the office would come down, and then that would give you plenty of site to pull out onto Hope Street with a caravan. I would hope.
We think not. We're getting that's why we're getting the engineering design, because
Can I talk to the engineer?
Yeah.
No, I just thought that if you funnelled it, so that you actually started turning before you hit the street, if it was a big wide thing. But anyway.
The design will show it.
It'll be the traffic committee, won't it, that'll determine that?
Yeah.
So there's work happening.
Thank you, Max.
That it,
And
no?
We'll certainly be including the community.
Councillor Smith, you got that salt air out of your lungs yet?
No, the only thing I talked to Max yesterday about this cemetery.
Yes,
Bring that up, or?
I can tell you what I found out. I should have got you when you first arrived. In the older part of the cemetery, what they thought they were saying to the person that contacted you was that we would have to check, because sometimes there's limited space, all the space has been used, or the graves have been put so close together that you can't dig one in between because of collapses. But they are meeting today, and I've spoken to them, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure they can accommodate the request.
Yeah, good, yeah. It was just a cousin of mine that part of McGregor. It might affect other people, other families too, where they want to probably buy a plot or have a plot organised for whoever. It doesn't worry me too much, but a lot of people are told that they weren't doing that anymore, but I think that might have changed.
No, they are. They shouldn't have used those words if they use it, because we are still doing it, but there are some limitations given to the lack of records, and also they've been finding that they go and dig and then there's already somebody occupying that space, which is a little bit embarrassing.
No, that's good.
That's it.
Everything else was answered, thanks.
That's it for you, Councillor. No. Councillor Galvin?
No, I've got nothing.
No, moving around, Councillor Dixon?
No, I've got nothing.
Councillor Matthews, do you have anything?
Is the council subscribing to the Friends of the Council of the Aging?
Kota.
Kota?
You got that one too, I read that.
Yeah.
I think we might be it. We might be that council, are we? I don't know. Speaking with some of us,
I've actually, I don't know about that. If you want, we can certainly find out about
Talk
it.
to you about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know anything
They
about
have newsletters with interesting things for older people.
Well, we've certainly got an ageing community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just struck me.
Is that it for you, Councillor Matthews? That's it? Councillor Moore?
Only one thing, Mr Mayor, the Historical Society would like to know whether all their artefacts are covered under the council's insurance.
Yes.
You'd have to be valued though. They'd have to be valued though. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you just have to have a value.
Yeah, just have to have a value on them.
Yeah.
They should have an inventory.
Well, you'd hope so, Max, yeah.
And that inventory would be covered, but a lot of those things are...
But donated anyway.
well, not replaceable either.
Yeah.
No, and I don't know how you put a value on some of them.
So...
Is that it from you, Councillor?
Yeah, no, that's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank
Councillor
you.
Mulligan, do you have that?
Yes, thank you. Just to say, thanks from the last meeting, thanks for the work that was done at the tip at Cropper Creek. Tidied up a bit and cleaned up a bit. And thanks for the roads are being fixed up slowly but surely. Unfortunately, they're still deteriorating. There's that much traffic on the present minute. I would just hasten to add that I think the causeways are actually really taking a hammering at the present minute, particularly with trucks and water laying in them.
Yeah.
Some of them probably just, I don't know, maybe in the future are going to have a little bit of attention put in them. But
They would be assessed under flood damage already, wouldn't they, Alex?
Yeah, some of them are. Councillor Mulligan, is the traffic that you're mentioning largely inland rail?
it is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a massive amount of trucks there and traffic on the road the whole time.
Advice from inland rail is that they aren't far away from being able to send all of their gravel haulage up and down the corridor. That advice has been sitting for quite some time, and we're still waiting for that to happen, but there will come a point in that construction where all of that traffic will sit solely within the rail corridor.
Is that why they didn't bother meeting with us in the end, is it?
I suspect so, yes.
Can I just make a comment? We're doing this community survey across the community. One of the things Casey was telling me is coming out, and this hasn't been a negative thing, this has been a positive thing from a rural community, that they would like to see the causeways actually wider, if at all possible. That'll be something that, Alex will have to look at, but that's one of the things that's come through strongly from the...
Just a comment, just wider and also just flatten them out a little bit more, stop them being so sharp, so that traffic has to slow down to 60 k's.
Well, the idea of doing the survey is to actually get that information so that we can start to roll it over into our planning. So.
And look, and I dig the point, it's flood damage, because that's half the problem. It keeps raining in the floodways. Yeah. And the causeways just keep filling up with water, and what's wrong is the water's getting through the cracks.
And just to address your point about causeways being a bit of a sharp bump and not a gradual thing that's smooth to drive through, it goes back to when causeways were constructed before computers existed, and they were done with a sagging string line, which doesn't provide the correct vertical alignment. Anything new we're putting in does address that exact issue, but we acknowledge that there are causeways that have a poor vertical alignment.
So you've rolled the string line up?
Yeah. Sorry?
You've rolled your string line up, you don't
Yeah.
I think that another message... Yeah, she can have the government. The other message that needs to go out is this community consultation is current right now. So please spread the word, Cropper Creek everywhere, this to all councillors. And I think...
it's been extended to the 4th of March.
Yeah, which is really not long enough, because I was hoping it might have been extended until after the community meetings were over.
Yeah.
But there's
it's an internet-based thing, I think.
QR code thing, isn't there? A card that you can take and distribute.
Survey on the internet.
Yeah.
We've only had, Casey said as it yesterday, I think it was, Max, we've only had 36 responses, which is really quite disheartening.
Leah, I've been really scratching my head, and I've finally come up with something to put into that survey. Councillor Regan?
I just want to ask, going back a long time when we sealed the Elkham Road, and Leah might remember this, weren't the causeways there or put on a list to be widened at the time?
You have to ask Richard, I'm not sure.
No.
Thanks.
I can't remember the
Can I ask
quality of the concrete.
Deputy General Manager, was it not, were we not going to have wider
A
causeways?
couple of them were widened at the time, but a couple haven't been, and it was my understanding that was going to happen in the future.
They were going to happen in the future. Well, the future's still happening, I suppose.
That's a road that needs to be local traffic only.
Yeah.
Well, they're things we're going to have to address.
We've talked about that when that was done.
Just on that topic, I'd be interested, we'll put a report up to Council to test the appetite for load limiting that to local traffic only, especially that's used as a shortcut from traffic from the west heading south. Throughout town. There's a perfectly good state highway network that we can keep them on, and there is mechanism to allow continued access for anybody that lives on that road and there has an enterprise
Those
on that
deliveries.
road. For trucks to come in and out, and of course light traffic wouldn't be impacted at all. But there would be, there is a real mechanism to restrict people shortcutting Elcombe Road from using it.
Alex, can that just come from council as a go to traffic committee, or how does that work?
It can come from council.
Yeah.
The decision needs to be made on the basis of safety concerns, and narrow causeways would certainly play into that. The heavy vehicle regulator is the determining authority when it comes to these sort of issues, and we have had similar things rejected in the past because we weren't able to demonstrate safety concerns, but there's no issue with doing that on Elcombe Road.
Would you consider putting a report up to council?
Yes, happy to.
Good. Yes,
Just one more thing, Mr. Mayor. We talk about consultation in the community, and I did notice that somewhere there's a bit of an agenda of meetings coming up.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could sort of extend one of those meetings to Cropper Creek, North Star, Upper Horton, somewhere else, and have a bit of a community consultation meeting afterwards.
Well, we can do that at the meeting. We can include it on the agenda. If the people know that that's going to happen, it'd be good. But we're certainly going. That's what was my comment, that I would have preferred the deadline to be after those meetings have concluded. Whether we get anything out of them or not is another thing, but you don't know. The only thing I have at the moment is I'm really concerned about the SES in Mayoral. I don't know what you think, whether council should be taking some action either way, whether we have a membership drive and try and... It's virtually non-existent, and we've got all that equipment there, and I'm just concerned that usually when this happens, equipment starts disappearing and things start to fall down. I think we either kick it up and get it going again or close it down altogether. Would be my opinion. I know what you think, Max.
I don't think it's operating.
It's not operating at all.
If there's a call from Rory Elder, it gets handled out of the Bingra.
Yeah.
There's an amazing shed up there that could be used for other things.
A lot of gear
Get
too.
one good person there to start off, and I don't know who, but
I believe there's two members and they both live in Gravesend, I believe.
yeah.
So,
If there was someone in Warrior and that we could approach and say, look, the council's right behind you, and someone that would...
Need another Charlie Willett.
Yeah.
When he was in charge, it was just humming, wasn't it?
Do you want me to give it a focus at the Warrior Elder community meeting?
I think we're time to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we could invite someone from SES to come along and talk, someone from the upper end.
Well, he's in Tamworth. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I think it's Cooper from memory.
What, that would come
Yes,
speak.
yes, area.
Right.
Like,
Anyway, I think if we don't take some action, it'll just fall over.
Is it this weekend that Bingra are having a
For
SES drive?
Yeah, well, they're having an information day for younger people to try to get them interested in it,
And to teach
He'd probably be at
and-
that next, I'd say, the area commander or whatever they call him.
Yeah, they're teaching them how to use the defibrillators.
Yeah.
And
I
also
heard
water
of it.
rescue.
There was an interview, throwing
Yeah,
ropes
yeah.
and something like that.
We should have extended that to the Warrior schools and said, look, if you're interested, come down and try and get more. It's the way to build the next.
Anyway,
We've still got time to do that.
It probably has been because, the SES controller is for Guida Shire, not just, not just for Bingra or
okay.
Warrior. So, but I'll find out if that invitation was extended.
anyway, that's all I have at the moment. So we might break for morning tea. Call for a motion to go into confidential session.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor D. Colton, seconded. Councillor Lyndon Mulligan. Put that motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Thanks.
Okay, language now. Watch out.
The recommendations from the confidential ordinary meeting 7.1 Organisation and Community Services Monthly Report. The recommendation is that the report be received. 7.2 Moore Street Development Site. The recommendation is that the acceptance of the Curry Power Proprietary Limited quotation of $161,283.91, excluding GST, to provide electricity and NBN connectivity to the Murchison subdivision, Moore Street, Bingara, is confirmed. Item 7.3, potential residential development sites. The recommendation is that the report be received and that the recommendations outlined within the report are adopted. Item 7. When I get to it. (7.4) Tender for Ivy Bore Road drainage works. The recommendation is that due to extenuating circumstances and the unavailability of competitive and reliable tenders, Council award J.K. Williams Contracting Proprietary Limited contract drainage works for a total value of $507,187.90, excluding GST, in accordance with Section 55, Subclause 3 of the Local Government Act 1993. In relation to 7.5, Spring Valley Road closure, that the request to close Spring Valley Road is denied, that the public gate permit application is denied. There was also 2 matters raised in Councillor Reports. One was to invite representatives from the RFS to visit the Shire to talk about the expansion of fire-prone land to include grasslands across the Shire, and also a copyright issue relating to the Bingara Historical Committee. So you need someone to
Someone to move the adoption of those, of that onto the general business, general.
So moved, Mr Mayor.
Moved Councillor David Carlton, seconded Councillor Jeff Smith. That motion, those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carried. That concludes our business. It's 11:50. I thank you very much for your attendance and declare the meeting closed.